News producer Mary Murray joining us this morning. Mary, thank you very much for that update, and thank you as well for that exclusive interview. It was terrific.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit more about the case. We'll get an expert's eye view. Michael Wilds is a city councilman in Englewood, New Jersey. He is also a well-known immigration attorney, and he joins us in our studio this morning. Good morning. It's nice to see you, and I thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
We know, as we just heard Mary talk about, the grandmothers went to see Janet Reno. Is that unusual, or considering the international political situation that's going on, not so unusual?
Well, I would wish that most of my clients would have the privilege of meeting with the Attorney General. It is odd that she would take an interest in this personally, had it been not for the politics. The Attorney General usually shows up when it comes to high-profile whistleblowers or defectors, and our office has met with her office and her directly on a few occasions. This instance, however, is a very big political football, as the correspondent indicated before, and her personal involvement, as well as the Commissioner of the Immigration Services involvement, shows me that they are concerned about the politics here.
Is there something that she can do for these grandmothers? By meeting with them, does that mean in some way she has helped them?
Well, I don't think that this is the right forum. I had taken issue earlier that immigration had gone to Cuba unilaterally to meet with the boy without any of the boy's representatives or the family from the United States to make sure that the father wasn't under coercion. Historically, the state courts is the right forum to determine status, whether it's a person who's married or divorced or who has custody. So the right jurisdiction, in my opinion, is the state court. They happen to be in federal court right now to evaluate whether or not the state court has the authority here or immigration. Immigration has made a determination that the father speaks for the boy. The family in Miami would like the family in Miami to speak for the boy. Either way, though, this is a tremendous political football. People are arguing, did she commit a parental kidnapping and taking the child? Or is it in the best interest of the child once he's on U.S. soil to remain here?
The courts will decide, or at least that's what everyone is saying, and yet will there be influence from the relatives in Miami and from the grandmothers as well? Does that really play a big role in how the courts decide, or will they sort of just look at the law?
I would call out to the politicians in this election season to take away the cameras, to take away the politics, to go to court, to have everybody show up. Let the grandmothers who came to New York, obviously they were concerned about the politics of being in in Miami, or they were concerned about the appearance that they might get caught in state court here. But I would call on everybody to make sure that they all had their chance to say their piece. Let's find out what's in the interest of this young man, who will be undoubtedly affected by this as the years go on.
Would they interview the little boy in court? I mean, will we hear from, when it goes to court, and I mean the general we, would he be asked to speak before the court about what he wants? Because of course it's so odd to think of a 6-year-old really being able to speak coherently and credibly about this kind of thing.
I practice immigration law, but in my opinion, the boy will be interviewed, but it will be handled with kid gloves, because right now that young man would like his mother back more than anything else. The fact remains that we should hear from the father. It dismays me that he has not made the trip here yet. He has sent grandmothers who have more rights than the relatives in Miami, but why don't we hear from everybody? Why don't we make a determination, or better yet, let experts who spend their time day after day making these determinations do so without cameras, without politics.
Michael Wilds, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We certainly appreciate it. And we want to remind everybody that you can listen to the entire interview with Elian Gonzalez's grandmothers by logging on to our website at msnbc.com. The two women spoke with NBC News producer Mary Murray, as we mentioned. That interview was done yesterday. And up next, we'll have another check on our top stories. Also at